Hi, this is Arthur, and this is a summary and explanation of the story from the event Vibrant Harriers Aloft in Spring Breeze, released in the game Genshin Impact version 4.4. The traveler returns to Liyue for the annual Lantern Rite when she bumps into Keqing and Charlotte. The two are talking about kites as that is the theme of this year's Lantern Rite. A while back, Charlotte introduced Ningguang to some people in Fontaine who contributed technology to keep Liyue's traditional kites afloat. They chat a bit more and mentioned a kite flying contest before saying goodbye. Just then, Paimon sees two suspicious individuals and they confront them. Turns out it's the Adepti Mooncarver going by the alias Hozang and Mountain Shaper going by the alias Jehu. The two disguise themselves as humans and came to the city to check up on Cloud Retainer who they haven't seen in a while. However, upon hearing about the mechanical kites, the two think this Fontainian technology hurt Cloud Retainer's pride as a mechanical expert. They think Cloud Retainer is probably stewing somewhere and decide to return home to avoid her wrath. The two Adepti leave and the traveler goes shopping for kites. As they are shopping, a government official named Longzhou shows up and offers a commission. Longzhou asks them to find a guard named Gaming and deliver goods with him to Yilong Wharf. The traveler agrees and finds Gaming. They then head down to Yilong Wharf and along the way, Gaming mentions he is a wushu dancer. They eventually reach Yilong Wharf and Gaming sees some family members. It seems Gaming has family issues. They try to avoid them and eventually deliver the goods to the Secure Transport Agency. The representative there is named Zhigui and offers them some tea so they take a break. Gaming then invites them to some dim sum in 2 days and leaves. Side note, dim sum is a Chinese meal usually occurring during brunch hours and consists of small plates and tea. The traveler also leaves and bumps into Xianyun. Side note, Xianyun is actually the Adeptus Cloud Retainer. Paimon passes along regards from Mountain Shaper and Mooncarver and Xianyun is embarrassed she forgot about them. Xianyun asks them to wait while she shops for gifts for the two Adepti and buys some mechanical toys for herself. Xianyun returns and tells them she will be teaching a kite-making workshop and invites the traveler. The traveler agrees to attend. Sometime later, the traveler meets with Gaming for dim sum. During the meal, Gaming talks about himself. Gaming's father is a tea merchant and always wanted Gaming to go into the business. However, Gaming always wanted to be a wushu dancer. Gaming's father disapproved. One day they got into a huge fight on the issue and Gaming ran away. Gaming hasn't gone back ever since. Gaming figured that if he made it big in Liyue Harbor, the results would speak for themselves. However, he hasn't been too successful and became a guard to make a living. Gaming still hasn't given up on his dancing though. The traveler then brings up Shenyun's kite workshop and Gaming decides to come. They head over and see Ganyu, Shenhe, Yao Yao, Shenyun, and Shuyu. They have fun making kites when suddenly one of those new mechanical kites float over. Xianyun is incensed and heads over to where it came from with the traveler following behind. Turns out it was Mooncarver and Mountain Shaper flying the kite. Xianyun calms down and the two agree to go somewhere else to play with their kite. Xianyun and the traveler return to Mount Aozang and learn Shuyu and Yao Yao got tired so Gaming escorted them home. Xianyun decides to give new outfits to Shenhe and Ganyu and makes dinner for everyone. The topic of Gaming's family situation comes up and Xianyun devises a plan to help him. Sometime later, the traveler meets with Gaming and Lanzhou. Lanzhou commissions them to escort Gaming's father to Liyue along with a bunch of tea. They meet with Gaming's father, who is named Yiptak, and start their journey. After a bit, they decide to take a break when Mooncarver and Mountain Shaper, still in their human forms, attempt a staged robbery. Gaming chases them away, and the traveler moves Yiptak to a safer location. Along the way, they see Zhongli flying a kite. They all move to a tea stall and wait for Gaming's return. As they rest, Zhongli talks to Yiptak about his relationship with Gaming. Yiptak disapproves of Gaming's wushu dancing because it is not a financially stable career path. Zhongli gently encourages Yiptak to not control Gaming but to let him find his own path. Gaming soon returns and pulls aside the traveler for a chat. It seems Gaming realized the whole thing was staged. They return and find Zhongli and Yiptak getting along famously. A bit later, Zhongli says goodbye and the traveler walks him out. This gives Gaming and his father a chance to talk. Just then, Xiao arrives and says hello to the traveler and Zhongli. Earlier, Hu Tao tasks Zhongli to figure out if the regular kites or mechanical kites were better. Zhongli then ropes Xiao into helping him figure it out. Xiao came here to report his findings that the mechanical kites are faster. Xiao and Zhongli say goodbye and we cut to Gaming and Yiptak's conversation. Just then, Shenhe and Shenyun sit nearby intending to demonstrate familial love to Gaming and Yiptak. Shenhe's weirdness kind of ruins that plan, but Gaming and Yiptak share a heart-to-heart and resolve their differences anyway. They soon leave the area and eventually reach Liyue Harbor. Once there they meet Charlotte, who was the one who made the order. Charlotte also wants to interview Yiptak and they step away to discuss it. Just then, Shenyun pops up and confesses to setting up the whole thing. Gaming then comes up with a new plan and requests their help to enact it. Afterwards, the traveler obtains a Fontainian kite device and attaches it to the kite they made earlier at Shenyun's workshop. Sometime later, the lights dim in Liyue Harbor and Gaming performs his dance to the cheers of a large crowd. Among that crowd are Yiptak being led by Shuyu. After his performance, kites fill the sky as they take part in the kite flying competition. After that, Gaming talks to Yiptak. Yiptak is impressed by Gaming's performance and says he will support Gaming's decisions. Yiptak then lets Gaming hang out with his friends. Sometime later, the traveler visits Chaoying village and along the way bumps into Navia and Clorinde. They're here to celebrate Lantern Rite and mention seeing Farina and Nouvelette. The traveler continues on to Chaoying village and sees Farina, Hu Tao, and Zhongli. They head over and chat. Farina is here to sightsee and ran into Nouvelette earlier. Nouvelette was only here for half a day and asked Hu Tao for directions, which is how Farina met Hu Tao. After Nouvelette left, Zhongli showed up to meet Hu Tao. Just then, Navia and Clorinde show up and they all chat for a bit. It starts to get late and Navia, Clorinde, and Farina head back to Fontaine. The traveler then heads to Fontaine and finds Nouvelette. They chat a bit about his trip and he gifts them a ladle. And that is the end of this quest in this video. If you like what you've seen here, please like, comment, and subscribe.